All right, small technical difficulty, but we're gonna get this started real soon. I'm over here clicking and sticking one time. All right. Oh, calm down, doggy. Let's try this again, shall we? Burn my damn finger.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
You remember when you was only 2 years old?
No,
You came into my life.
I don't.
Okay, who left the toilet running?
And many more. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it is me, Justin Meat Peaks. Podcast Peaks to be specific. Sorry about that. Music kept running when I didn't want it to, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 4 of Make It Make Sense. Hopefully you guys can hear me out there. Welcome. Don't mind me. I was having some technical difficulties, but I am back. I am here. And I'm ready to rock and roll. So hopefully you guys can hear me, but let me turn up my gain just a little bit. All right, so let's get to it. For those of you who've seen my post this week and seen what I have going on for today's topics, first thing on the platter is, am I trending yet? Now, this particular topic is going to run right into the remaining two topics, but let's start off with the bigger question. Am I trending yet? Which, let's be honest, that is the thing that is going on these days. COVID-19 shutting down the country has proven that anybody with a computer or a smartphone and enough free time on their hands can become a household name or a household image or, more importantly, a meme. So as we all know, COVID had us stuck in the house for a very long time. And because of that, we found ourselves to be very bored and very quick to jump on the internet to find sources of entertainment. And it's been great. It's been great. I mean, we've had some very, very funny things happen throughout COVID-19 as far as, TikToks and trending things that are going on. But there's also a lot of bad things that came out of COVID-19. And more importantly, came out of the trending fad that is going on. A lot of us have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of trending. So what I want to talk about more specifically right now that directly relates to my life is people wanting to trend, doing things that are dangerous, illegal, just downright stupid. And I just can't get with it. I can't understand why that is the thing that these kids and some adults are just kind of really into right now, where that is what we do. We go into this world of let's go do something crazy. Hopefully people will watch us do it and we can become famous. You know, the whole phrase TikTok famous. And it's definitely weird that people think that that's a cool thing to do. And I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So let's not do it. I mean, for real. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I understand that there's a monetary value behind becoming TikTok famous. I myself am aiming to be podcast famous. I can't sit here and act like trending is something that I'm not familiar with, and it's something that I'm not trying to do. I'm 100% trying to trend. Excuse me. But not for the sake of like legalities and possible jail time. It's not worth it. I really just don't understand why that's the thing that people are trying to hear. Excuse me. A little technical difficulty right there, but I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe you guys can help me out and help me understand that this is what we're doing. We're 100% out here just doing things that make no sense. We're doing things that are life-threatening. I made a joke the other day with a coworker of mine um, about how there was the videos at one point where people were drinking the Fabuloso cleaning product, like putting it in drinks. And I'm like, maybe it was fake, maybe it wasn't fake. I'm not sure, but that is not okay. And now you have kids today with these devious licks, which by all means is just a terrible thing to do. Where these kids are in schools, they're vandalizing school property, they're causing all types of damage to the buildings that they're on or they're in, and all for the sake of becoming famous, like all for the sake of trying to garner some attention on the internet, and it's wildly inappropriate to me. I for one cannot sit here again, and I am not gonna sit here and pretend like I am innocent in this world of trending and TikToking and whatnot. I do not have a TikTok account. I will say that. But I sit on my IG and I go through my reels and I look and see what stuff is trending, and I try to keep up with stuff and I share what I think is funny. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh yay, that's like, oh, that's funny, let me share, click. But that's not it. I don't agree with the dangerous stuff. Like I get it, thrill seekers and whatnot, they're out there to do the darndest things and to be the most exciting people in the world, but it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. I don't like it. And yeah, I truly am not gonna support the trending, especially with these kids today, like the devious lick thing. And I'm speaking on that because, for those of you who don't know, not only am I a father, but I work in education. I work at a school, and my school has actually fell victim to these stupid trending topics. And we've had kids do things in our buildings that didn't make sense, and it just really begs the question, like, what are we doing? Are we trying to be trending? Are we trying to be TikTok famous when we're, acting out in a manner that we've seen online? Like, I just don't get it. So for me, why am I trending yet? Like, am I trending yet? How does one trend? And the thing that kills me is when you have people who are like, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to laugh at it. I see that it already has 1 million views, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. But what's the expectation? Am I expecting to get 1,000,001 views because I followed in the footsteps of somebody else? Or am I just that dumb? Am I that numb inside where it only makes sense for me to do what somebody else is doing right now in order for me to be recognized? Like, am I trending yet? Am I trending because I did something unoriginal and not even creative? I'm repeating what somebody else did, and what am I looking to be recognized? Am I trending yet? And it's really just not the best thing to me. Like, I don't get it. Again, I for one am trying to trend currently. I'm trying to be a trending topic in the podcast world. I want to be acknowledged. I want to be listened to. I want to be followed. I want to trend, but not at the risk of my safety, not at the risk of my freedom. I just don't get it. And with that being said, it leads into the next topic of tonight's podcast is, who raised you? Who raised you, little bastards? And I'm not talking about just the kids who are imitating these stupid, devious licks thing. I'm talking about some of the adults and some of their behaviors and their lack of intelligence when it comes to the stuff that they're doing. Who the fuck raised you? Who raised you?
And going back to my other point of just, how I'm speaking directly from my life, when I have students who I interact with doing these things, the first thing I look at is their parents. And I have to say, who the hell raised you? Like, there's no way on God's green earth I would do any of the things that these children are doing in a school just for the admiration of total strangers when I know that at the end of the day, I got to go home to my mother. No, who raised you? When I was a kid, it took my mom showing up to the school or my dad showing up to the school one time, and I never did it again. Whatever it was, it never happened again. And hell, because it happened the first time and they had to show up, I didn't do it in anything related to it, anything that looked like it, smelled like it, sounded like it. Hell, if it was spelled it backwards, if it was T, I wasn't doing it. So trust and believe, when I say who raised you, I really need to know who the hell raised y'all. All for some trending. All because you want to be recognized for being the idiot who jumped in to sink the Burger King before he quit. Like, I just, at what point do we stop and say, am I trending yet? And if I am trending, who the hell raised me to believe that this was okay? I find it very hard that there's a parent out there right now who is proud of their child for damaging a school bathroom or committing some of these heinous acts. And you know what? Here's the kicker for all y'all out there listening to me. I got a text message earlier on about these devious licks. And from what I've been told, it's a monthly thing. It's a monthly TikTok challenge. This is the crazy part. Listen to this. Now, I don't know how real this is, but I got a picture today that talked about these devious licks. Listen to this. According to this TikTok challenge, which this is the shit that's tripping me out. First and foremost, who the hell raised y'all to create these challenges that I'm about to read off to encourage other people's kids to do this shit with no regard for what will happen to them and their lives? Like, I when I find you, I'm going to slap the shit out you. I'm going to slap you. So listen up, people. If you are in education, or if you have a child, or if you know someone who has children, or if you've ever seen children in your daily walk of life, check this out. TikTok challenges by the month. This is for the school year, I'm assuming, but let's go with it. Starting with, these are definitely school ones. Ready? Starting with August, children were challenged to sleep in and be late. Who the hell raised you to where you thought you could sleep in and be late to school? I'll be damned if I wasn't up before my mother making her breakfast and coffee when I was a kid growing up. So who the hell raised you? September, mess up a toilet / vandalize the restroom out of school. Vandalize? This is how you know this was an adult who wrote this shit. Because these kids don't know what vandalize mean. They don't understand that this is a possible charge against them. This is jail time in certain states and areas right now. I seen a news article that said that these particular devious licks, as they call them, will now be held as federal charges. So somebody out there about to have y'all kids all the way jacked up and have you in some courthouse paying bail and bond on a child who's fucking 10 years old because they wanted to vandalize a school bathroom on some stupid shit because you let your kid have an iPhone at the age of 6. Who raised you? Next, October. This one right here, I'm going to let y'all know right now. For anybody out there who knows me, and more importantly, anybody out there who hears this, for the month of October, the challenge is smack a staff member on the backside. Now, where I come from, the backside is the ass. And I'm going to be honest with you. I work with predominantly women in my building. Predominantly women. And I feel like this is a challenge that only boys will be stupid enough to try. I promise on everything I love, if any male in my building decides that he is going to run this challenge in the month of October and smack a staff member on the ass, I'm going to jail for beating somebody's kid up. And then I'm going to jail again for beating a parent up when they come to the school to find out why they're suspended and beaten up. Because I'm going to beat you up too. Because who the hell raised you to raise this little badass child that thought it was okay to smack a teacher on the backside? You must be out your goddamn mind. I'm just telling you right now. I promise you, if you smack anybody on the ass, we gonna have a serious problem. It's gonna be a big misunderstanding. That much I promise you. November. This one, I'm gonna be honest with you. This one's a little crazy. But this one's a little bit more interesting. And I feel like somebody trying to get beat up. This one for the month of November, the challenge is kiss your friend's girlfriend at school. Now y'all telling these kids to kiss they homeboy's girl or homegirl. They telling them to kiss the kid's girlfriend, to kiss somebody else's significant other in school. What the hell is wrong with y'all? What the hell is wrong with y'all? I'm not even mad at the kids at this point. I'm mad at the adult who made this up. Because again, this don't even sound like some shit that a child would say. Literally, vandalize is the word that threw me. That's where it took me right there. Vandalize, it sounds like some adult shit. But who knows? But kiss your friend's girlfriend at school. Again, y'all out here trying to get these kids beat up. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Who raised you? Okay? December. I'm gonna be honest with you. This one, I promise you. I promise you. If any child does this, I will do everything in my power. And this is, I work with children and I love my job. But I will do everything in my power to have this child removed from public schooling entirely. December is deck the halls and show your balls. What in the absolute fuck? Please explain this to me. Who raised you? Who raised you? The hell? I can't even wrap my mind around that. Like, who would have thought this was okay? I cannot and will not wrap my mind. Nope. January. Jab a breast. Now, I'm not quite sure what that means. My assumption is that you punch somebody in the chest. But because it says jab a breast, I believe that it is literally implying to hit a female in the chest, specifically. That is my assumption. So again, whichever one of you sick fucks out there came up with this list, who raised you? And the only reason I ask that is because I want to make sure I know who to slap first. February, mess up school signs, which, by all intents and purposes, children pull signs off the wall all the damn time. And that one kind of seems like a normal behavior than anything, but still. How is this a challenge? Now, if by messing up school signs, you mean like the signs outside on the street, like that says school zone and stuff like that, that's still a little bit more aggressive than what I'm thinking. But if that is the case, once again, it's a criminal offense. Stop it. March. Make a mess in the courtyard or cafeteria. Again, children are messy. So I understand, making a mess doesn't seem like the biggest issue. But again, if you're doing it for the sake of a challenge, rather than the fact that you're just a messy eater, I have a problem with you because who raised you? And where I'm at, if you make a mess, you clean it up. So, the joke's on you. While you over there trying to be funny, you're going to be real mad when you in here mopping the entire cafeteria, sweeping up the entire courtyard. Like, at that point, people are laughing at you and not with you. April. This one is, I don't know. This one says grab some eggs. And that's not ass. That's eggs. It's like literally grab some eggs. I don't know. Do y'all have schools where there's eggs at? Like, I don't. This one, I don't get. I don't get that one. So, who raised you? May, ditch day. Can't say that I'm really mad about that one per se. I'm not encouraging it, but you're talking to a guy who grew up in the early 80s through the 90s and early 2000s and, cutting the school and skipping school. We had that, that was a thing we did before there were truancy officers. The green machine, as we call it around here. Before there were truancy officers who, would obviously catch you and take you back to school, cutting the school was not that big of a deal. But yeah. This one, June, flip off the front office. I'm assuming that's give the front office the middle finger. I think this is an assumption. I'm not quite sure. But again, for the last 4 months or the last 3 months, April, May, and June, who raised you? Because I don't get it. And then last but not least, this one, and I'm reading this from a picture. July is spray a neighbor fence. And maybe they meant face, but spray a neighbor fence or spray a neighbor face. I don't know what that means. I have zero idea of what that means. But again, who the hell raised you? Who raised you? And that's all I got. So that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the list of TikTok challenges for the year. And again, going back to the original point, am I trending yet? Followed by the question of who raised you? Why does a list like this exist? Why is this become the thing that people find to be the most entertaining and the most prevalent in their lives? Like why does it matter so much if you're trending? And more importantly, why are you choosing to trend in a manner that is quite dangerous, quite detrimental, and borderline illegal, if not completely illegal? Why are you so desperate to trend? Please help me understand. Am I trending yet? But really, who raised you, people? Like, seriously, who raised you? Why did you think that this was normal? Who raised you? I just can't understand. But even still, with all that being said, it brings me to my last point, the bow on this wonderful podcast, just to tie a knot on this whole thing, to bring it all full circle. And that last final topic is, simply put, this is abnormal. This is abnormal. All of this is abnormal. And I will go back as early as to say that COVID-19 started this, but I will go further back to say that the internet has ruined us as a society, not just as a culture. Literally, the human species is 100% on the wrong path thanks to the internet. I don't care. Don't argue with me. Argue with your mother, because that's who raised you to believe otherwise. The internet has 100% created this world where it's just literally, I say it all the time. When these kids have phones in their hands, right? When you have the internet, you have access to everything. Therefore, you feel no obligation to know anything. When you have access to everything, you are not obligated to know anything. You don't have to know shit. Because you can ask Siri, you can ask Google, you can get the Alexas and all these things. Like, you don't have to know anything anymore because your phone told you what you needed to know. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is why this is abnormal. You're reaching for this plateau that was created by some asshole in the middle of nowhere, or your next door neighbor who had nothing but time on their hand. And he said, hey, I'm going to make a list of dumbass things for people to do. And somehow people are going to do it. And again, going back to my original point of trending, I, for one, understand how trending works. Literally, we all are subjective to it. I am not without fault here. I definitely have hashtags that I follow because of what's quote unquote trending. And again, from a professional standpoint of me creating a podcast, not that I am a professional, but that I'm trying to monetize this podcast and I'm trying to turn this into something that I can make into a much bigger thing. I understand the necessity for trending. I understand how trending attracts advertisers and how it attracts different companies to partner with you to maximize their profits and maximize the audience that they're reaching. I 100% understand the business behind it. With that being said, make sure you like my podcast. Make sure you share, follow, do all those fun things to help me reach the point that I'm trying to make this even more. Because again, I'm not above it. I'm not above it. But we go through all this effort to trend and to be, as it was pointed out, to reach some small levels of fame for dumb shit. And yet no one's stopping to just say, who the fuck raised you? Who taught you this was okay? I'll be damned if a child of mine is doing any of these shits to trend. Because again, if you saw the video and it had 1 million likes, those 1 million people who saw that video, the same video that you saw, those 1 million people are not going to turn around and like your video as well because they've already seen it. That's the part we're missing. That's the part where no one's getting the message, where if they already did it and you're repeating it, chances are you're not going to get anything out of it. You're not going to make any profit. You're not going to make any headway. You're just going to look like a dumbass repeating what somebody else has already done. It just doesn't make sense. And that's why this podcast is titled, Make It Make Sense. Help me understand, people. Because again, this is abnormal. I mean, like I said, COVID-19 gave everyone too much free time on their hands, so we started to do things that we wouldn't do before. I can honestly say that my podcast did not start within the birth of COVID-19 and did not start during the pandemic. It's a recent creation, but being in a pandemic and having so much time on my hand, I can see how a lot of people come up with these different ideas and these different trends, but I don't see why we are so desperate to trend when we're not actually trying to profit from it, especially kids. You guys are so desperate to make TikTok videos with your 200 friends who you probably only know about 50 of them in real life. To accomplish what? To be where? You know, there's my daughter, she watches that one kid, I don't know the name of his whole show, but it's the little kid Ryan. And, you know, in that effort to create that content, his parents are involved. They're making the videos. They're probably doing their own animation. They're making sure they're filming almost every single thing they can and spending their time and spending their money to give you content and to give you this product, this person that you can follow and admire and admonish. And that's an effort that they're putting in full force, full throttle, wholeheartedly to achieve monetary gain versus some kid pissing on the walls of a bathroom floor or pissing on the walls of the bathroom at their school because they saw it. They're going to get 200 likes and charges pressed against them. Make it make sense, people. And I mean, I'm not blaming anybody's parent. Let's just put that out there. I'm not blaming anybody's parents for what their child is doing. But I definitely have to ask the question. I mean, seriously, who raised you? Who told you this was okay? What person out there got a phone call from their kid's school and said, hey, your kid shit in the sink in the boy's bathroom? And the parent was like, well, did he record it? Because we're hoping to get 1 million views by the end of the month. Like, make it make sense, people. Just make it make sense. So, that's all I got for you guys today. Again, I appreciate everyone that's out there who's listening to me. Share, like, subscribe, follow, do all those things. I want to talk to as many people as possible. I want to reach as many people as possible. And even if I don't hit that plateau of being a high, traffic trending podcast, I'm just enjoying doing this for me and for those few people who want to listen to me. I am going to ask the question, am I trending yet? But you know what? How I was raised, I'm not seeking the confirmation or the validation of other people. So I'm not doing this because I need to be validated or I'm trying to become famous on smaller, large scale. I enjoy what I'm doing because I enjoy talking to people and sharing my thoughts. And that's how I was raised. If you have an opinion, it's not a matter of everyone has an opinion. It's like buttholes. Everyone's got one. But if you have something that you feel is important to say, you should say it. You should say it. And I feel like I have some things that are important to say. We're all thinking it. I'm just going to be the one to say it first, hopefully. Because, again, I don't understand why there's a list. I don't understand why we're so desperate to trend. I don't understand who raised you people to think that this was normal. And find a pin on it, this is abnormal. This is a very abnormal behavior. But as of right now, it's a very abnormal world we live in. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't, I suppose. But just keep doing it because you're going to keep giving me things to talk about. So once again, it's your boy, Podcast Peaks, Justin Meat Peaks, here on Make It Make Sense, live and unjive on Podbean. Once again, keep a lookout, guys. I will be expanding my audience from just Podbean and trying to reach out to get on Spotify, Apple Music, so that you guys can listen to me anywhere and everywhere. But for those of you who listen through me on Podbean, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. I will continue to utilize this platform for as long as I possibly can. And honestly, I like the way this live on air podcast goes a lot better than me recording and posting it. So I'm gonna probably keep doing this because I love seeing the comments, love seeing the interactions. So it's gonna be something I probably continue to do. But in the meantime, in between time, you guys stay safe. It's an abnormal world out there. Remember who raised you, and don't be concerned about trending. Just not yet, anyway. So again, I appreciate y'all. Can't get enough of y'all. See y'all in the next episode. Peace.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
You remember when you was only 2 years old?
No,
You came into my life.
I don't.